All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's Jay again, and I kind of wanted to go over pots and figs and roots and pots and figs and roots and trees in general, basically, and kind of give you an idea of what I like to do and why I grow things a certain way, and to kind of show you the balance that these plants need between the pot size and the tree size. So I wanted to just kind of go over this real quick because I'm repotting some of these cuttings from last year, and you see that the cutting is really not that big, right? So there's your cutting, not that big of a tree, right? But I had them in these 10-gallon squats. So what I like to use is a 10-gallon wide or a 10-gallon squat, which is this size here, versus a 15-gallon tall, because what I've noticed is plants, especially in Arizona, especially at a nursery or sitting in a pot out in the heat, they need the larger root system. They need a larger mass around the actual tree to provide cooling to the root system. And I also want to show you this too, because I want to show you how fast they grow and how much roots you actually get on these things, and how large of a root ball you get, and why you need to constantly up pot these trees, or they'll get, eventually root bound in their size. So this is a Nixon Peace Fig that I'm repotting here, and you can see that it was a little cutting last year, and now it's actually grown some size to it. It's got some beautiful leaves on it. It's got a nice little spread. Looks really good. But what I wanted to show you was the roots, really, and the fact that you can pick up such a large root ball as this. I mean, this is a big pot. That's a huge pot, and you can pick up that root ball by pulling on the stem of the tree. So you can just grab it right here. I'll show you guys, and just pick it up, and oh my God, that's heavy. That is heavy. That's probably, I don't know, 60 pounds, probably, at least, being picked up by this little tiny stem, this cutting, because it has rooted so well into this pot. Let me see if I can kind of tilt this a little bit and show you guys the roots. I'm hoping this picks up, but the roots are all the way down to the bottom and sides, and have completely filled this huge pot, 10-gallon wide. You see the mass of it as compared to the actual cutting. So that's why I like the larger pots, and that's why I do everything a lot bigger, because you can see that this thing doesn't look like it would need to be up potted yet, because it's still a little stick. I mean, most growers would let this thing grow quite a bit larger in this size of a pot, but you can already see he's pretty much root bound, root locked. Well, not quite yet, because you see all these new little fine white roots, which will actually kind of root into the next size up, which in this case is a 25-gallon. So a large pot. So I would rather see, a small tree in a big pot, or the appropriate size tree in the appropriate pot, than having too big of a tree in too small of a pot, because you really want to keep everything kind of equal. As you can see, wow, the pomegranates are blooming. It's so pretty. You can see that's how you're going to keep these things all nice and lush and green, and keep them rocking through the summer as far as pots go. So I just wanted to show you guys, even if you take little fig cuttings, man, 1 year they root into this huge pot, and then by next year they'll have rooted into this next size, this big 25-gallon or 24-inch box, basically, in 2 years. So all right, guys, that's figs and cuttings and roots and pot sizes, and that's kind of what I like to do here at my nursery, is just keep everything enlarged, and just spare no expense on the pot and the soil. Just give them really good stuff and have a beautiful specimen tree that bears heavy fruit. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for watching.